From the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio app. It's the Sports Lab, presented by Rally House Gainesville, your one-stop shop for all your officially licensed game day apparel, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and on the WRUF mobile app.
So, after a season through early February of watching the bigs, the front court, Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, and the rest of the big bruisers on Gators basketball win games, Nate Bilgoray hanging out with you here on Sports Lab Overtime. Hanging out with you until basketball. That'll be on at around 6:30. But after watching that front court win game after game after game, in the Kentucky game, it was the guards. The guards, finally, in February, less than a month away from March Madness, won the Florida Gators a basketball game. And I'll tell you, it was a sight for sore eyes, because you know that you can rely on Ruben Chinyelu, right? In that Kentucky game, I mean, he had an off day. He looked like the Ruben of last year with the butterfingers and sloppy fouls down low, and he still gave you a double-double. You know you can rely on Thomas Houck, the way he's been playing in conversation for SEC Player of the Year, but you weren't really sure if you could rely on not only your guards to play consistently, but for two of them to do it in one game. And then all of a sudden, Xavier Lee, he goes out there, 4 threes immediately, 4 for 4, just nails every single one. He's shooting with a confidence that maybe he had all year. Maybe it just randomly spawned in him before the game. I have no clue. But he looked like a different Xavier. And then Urban Klavjar. I mean, he's the guy from downtown. The nickname I give Urban Klavjar after that Kentucky game, he's the Kentucky rally killer. They would score 4 baskets, 8-point run. Urban Klavjar, 5 feet beyond the arc. Yeah, you're going back to Lexington with an L. Again, it was just a sight for sore eyes, especially as someone who likes to reminisce. I was in San Antonio for the national championship last year, and let me tell you, Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Will Richard, 3 guys that you could just count on. They were so reliable, even when the front court didn't show up, when Alex Condon started to struggle later on in the season. I mean, man, you could count on the big 3. And watching that Kentucky game, I am by no means, I just want to clarify, I am by absolutely no means telling you that Urban Klavjar, Xavier Lee, and Boogie Flan, I laugh out loud saying it actually, I am by no means comparing them to the big 3 of last year. But what I will tell you here on Sports Lab Overtime is that the guards have turned a corner. The guards have turned a page and are playing a new level of basketball. And discourse surrounding the guards this season, I mean, it's been a little frustrating to me. It's been frustrating to watch them play, but then the conversation after watching them play and watching Xavier Lee struggle in the SEC, watching his minutes decrease, understanding that he might not be the guy that you paid 7 figures for, and seeing Urban Klavjar potentially take his spot in the rotation. He's starting to play more as conference play develops, progresses, continues, and the conversation becomes, who do you trust more? In March, game on the line. Let's say Florida finds themselves in a Texas Tech, Auburn, or Houston situation. Who do you trust more in the game, on the court, period? Not to take the last shot, just in the game. Urban Klavjar or Xavier Lee? And I'm here to kill that conversation right now. I mean, I'm done with it. I'm not tired of it because it was fair, at least before that Kentucky game. But I'm done with it. Instead of talking about who we trust more, Xavier or Urban, why don't we flip the narrative and ask ourselves, what can this team be if both of them are playing good? What is the ceiling of this Florida team in March if Urban Klavjar and Xavier Lee are both hitting threes? Just sit for a second wherever you are, in your car, at home on your couch, listening at work. We appreciate you if you are. Just let that sink in for a second. What is this team ceiling if Urban Klavshar and Xavier Lee are both playing good basketball? It's a championship. It is a championship. And it is way, way more fun, especially coming from someone who loves this team. I mean, with every bone in his body. It is, one, way more fun to talk about Urban Xavier and what this team can be with them competing at a high level. But two, it's realistic at this point. It's just where we are. I don't think you have to talk about Xavier Lee being less than Urban Klavshar anymore after what he showed in the Georgia and the Kentucky game. Now, if you still have reservations, fair. If you are still questioning of his consistency and his ability to do it against teams that are elite outside of the SEC because you're concerned at the strength of this conference, fair. I will give you that. I am very much so okay with saying, okay, the sample size from Xavier Lee is pretty small, and you could even go as far to say that when he plays a good game, it is an outlier in all of the data points that have been plotted in terms of Xavier Lee's production. But you watch that Kentucky game, and you watch the guards win Florida a basketball game. And I'm talking win them the game. I'm talking 19 from Herb. I'm talking 22 from Xavier. And I'm talking elite three-point shooting on a day where Ruben Chinyelu, again, reminded me of the Ruben of old. Ruben Chinyelu reminded me of Ruben from last year. Just couldn't catch the ball. Couldn't secure it. Looked clunky. Still a double-double. Still an elite basketball player. Just looked clunky. Kind of a regression game for Ruben Chinyelu, which is rare because he has 15 double-doubles on the season. But guess what? Florida beat a really, really, really talented team anyways. Like, I don't want to sit here and tell you that Kentucky team is meh. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Mark Pope is not the guy for them, because I don't believe that. A lot of Kentucky fans think that. I don't believe that. I think Mark Pope is going to be very successful for a very long time. But what I'll tell you is that Kentucky, 8+ wins in the conference, they're good, man. Otega Owe, Denzel Aberdeen, I mean, a lot of injuries. Williams, he's out for the season, fine. But they have really, really talented players. Specifically, they have really talented guards. And Denzel Aberdeen, I mean, it was tough. I'll tell you, it was tough watching him in the O-Dome, a national champion for the Gators, playing for Kentucky. That one hurt. But we know Denzel Aberdeen very well. And we know that he's an excellent on-ball defender. He is. And it didn't matter. Xavier got his buckets, man. Herb got his buckets. And your backcourt won you a game against a really talented team. So then I sit back and think to myself, and this may be me glorifying what this team can be. This may be the optimist in me, because I am an optimistic person. I like to see the good in things in life. My friends, they'll laugh at me when I talk about Giants football in the offseason because I'm so optimistic. It's just who I am. If you're having a bad day, come talk to Nate Bilgoray, host on the Sports Lab, and I'll try and cheer you up. But I start to think about what this team can be with Xavier, Herb, Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, and Tommy Houck all playing at a high level. I'll tell you right now, they can be the best team in the country. They can be the best team in the country. Nate Bilgoray hanging out with you here on Sports Lab Overtime. WRUF, presented by Rally House. We're talking all things Gators basketball, specifically the guard play and how it elevates the team right now. If you want to join the conversation, please feel free to give us a call. 352-392-8255, 352-392-8255. And the ceiling. I mean, I believe in this team at this point. Deep down in my soul, I know that this team, when it gets to the Elite Eight, it's going to be tough pickings, man. I mean, you got to really, 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 really hope that your guards are playing tip-top, top-notch basketball. But I know that if Xavier and Herb continue to do what they did together in the Kentucky game, together in tandem, with synergy, with a level of connective fiber, that we haven't seen amongst this team all year, I'm telling you they can win a championship. Let's go back to the non-conference period of Florida Gators basketball when they started the year losing 3 heartbreakers against 3 of the 6 best teams in the country in Arizona, Duke, and UConn. Let's just think about that time holistically for a second here on Sports Lab Overtime and recognize that Florida was playing bad basketball at that time. I mean, Florida was playing, it was worse than bad. It was really subpar. They didn't know who they were. They had no identity. They had Ruben Chinyelu. He was a bruiser. They had Thomas Houck. He was consistent. Xavier Lee, meh. Boogie Flan, meh. Herb, getting better. Alex Condon, struggling immensely. Looked like he was just fool's gold when it came to the preseason All-American honors. And somehow, the Florida Gators managed to lose those 3 games against 6 of the best teams in the country by a combined 11 points. A combined 11 points. I mean, do you remember that game in Cameron? Do you remember how close this Florida team was to beating an elite Duke team? I mean, first of all, you don't leave the best shooter on Duke wide open. You win the game. Second of all, you still had 20 seconds to win that game. Boogie Flan ended up dribbling the ball off his foot. Whatever, it's in the past. And third of all, Florida played awful in that game. I mean, they played terrible. For the first, 25 minutes of that game, I was like, geez, it's going to be a long season. I don't trust this team. That's where I was at. They ended up losing by 1 on the road in one of the 3 hardest environments to play in college basketball. You're going to sit here and tell me that you don't believe this team, if Xavier and Herb in harmony can play the way they did in the Kentucky game for the remainder of the season, that this is not a championship level team? You're bugging out. I mean, you are bugging out. And I bet your bottom dollar that they are. I don't have a lot of bottom dollars to spare. I'll give you that. But I will bet your bottom dollar that they are a championship caliber team. Nate Bilgoray hanging out with you here on Sports Lab Overtime, taking care of you till 6:30. Then we'll send you off to Florida basketball. They're playing South Carolina, who, as we all remember, I don't know if their roster's actually competitive in the SEC. Florida beat them by, 47 the last time they played them on the road? Ugh. Okay, but we all like seeing Florida win and doing it in dominant fashion. So that'll be a fun one. Stick around with us till 6:30. We've got that for you. And I want to stay on the topic of the backcourt here on the Sports Lab, but just transition a little bit. Because I've talked a lot about Herb. I've talked a lot about Xavier Lee. I've talked a lot about what this team can be with those two playing at their peak powers offensively. And now I want to transition to Boogie Flan. I am still wildly confused with Boogie Flan. I don't really understand him as a basketball player. I don't understand his ceiling. I don't understand his potential. I don't understand his future. Will he be back in Florida next year? Is he going to transfer? Is he going to go to the league? I don't know. Let's go back about a year from today, maybe just a little bit more, right around when Boogie Flan suffered an injury in his hand and ended up getting sidelined for the rest of the season for Arkansas. You look at some mock drafts. They had Boogie Flan going top 10 in the NBA draft. In the NBA draft, mock drafts. I mean, reputable sources, CBS, yada, yada, all of the big-time networks. Some of them had Boogie Flan going top 10. And I sit here and watch him play this season, and I don't know how that's possible. I see it. I see the shell. I see the skeleton. I see the outline. I see that he's an excellent defender, a great ball handler, and a quality passer as well. But this guy was a bucket, man. Go back and watch the Arkansas-Tennessee game last season when Boogie dropped 23. Go watch that tape. I challenge you. Whatever you're doing, if you have just a little free time on your hand, go watch that tape and tell me that that's the Boogie Flan. That's a Gator right now. Tell me that. It's weird. When Boogie Flan committed to the University of Florida, one, I was super happy because I'm from New York, and I have very close friends of mine who attended Stepinac and played for that basketball team with A.J. Griffin, R.J. Davis, Boogie. So yes, the hometown kid in me was super excited to get Boogie Flan. I know my producer, James McDonald, is on the same wavelength with me. But I was also excited because I was dead set on the fact that Boogie Flan was a guaranteed bucket. I was sure of it. I was 100% sure that Boogie Flan was going to be one of the two go-to guys offensively on this team alongside either Tommy or Alex. And now look at where we are. I don't get it. His jump shot's gone. His jump shot's gone. I was watching Houston and Iowa State last night and just kind of appreciating Kingston Flemings for who he is and what he can do on the basketball court. And when he gets to a spot on the mid-range, money every single time. Kingston, who he is, that's who I thought Boogie Flan was going to be. I thought Boogie Flan was going to be Kingston. I thought Boogie Flan was going to get to his spots at the mid-range and was going to be a guaranteed bucket, a guy you can just rely on. I mean, I thought he was going to be kind of like that friend you know you can talk to when you're having a bad day. I know you've got that person in your life. I know you've got someone, if you're feeling a little down, if you're feeling a little blue, you give them a call, you give them a text, and they'll cheer you up. They'll be that person for you. They're your rock, right? That's what we call it as human beings, a rock. Everyone has an emotional rock, emotional support friend, even if it's a family member, your mom, whatever. I thought Boogie Flan was going to be my emotional support offensive player. I thought he was going to be the rock on that team offensively. I thought he was going to be consistent, and he's just not. And at this point, we're now more than a year removed from Boogie Flan hurting himself and injuring that hand and requiring surgery, getting that surgery. I mean, his jump shot should be semi-back to where it was at this point, shouldn't it? I mean, Boogie Flan's jump shot should be half decent. He's scared to shoot the three. He's scared. I mean, Boogie Flan catches the ball wide open on the perimeter. And aside from the occasional, okay, yeah, screw it, I'm going to step back and fire one from NBA range, and it goes in, he is scared to shoot the three. So I really do wonder, I think to myself, is it possible that Boogie Flan just will never be the same shooter that he was at Arkansas because of the surgery? I mean, Josh Hart had a similar injury. He had a similar surgery, and his jump shots, well, you guys aren't Knicks fans. Go watch the games if you want to get a taste of Josh Hart's jump shot. So it's just a question that I ask myself, is Boogie Flan, is he capable of getting back to what he was? And to be honest with you, my genuine, heartfelt answer, I don't know. Coming up on Sports Lab Overtime here on WRUF, I'll tell you why. He doesn't need to get back to what he was. If he plays defense, this team's going to the Elite Eight. See you soon.
Make your garden come alive with...
This is Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, and you're listening to the home of Gators basketball, right here on WRUF.
So, change of plans, guys. You're not actually going to be listening to Sean Kelly here on WRUF like I've been telling you all that you will be for Gators basketball. Turns out there were some technical difficulties with baseball, but it was all figured out over in Stetson. So we will have the Florida baseball game for you at 6:25 on the dot against Stetson. If you do want to listen to Gators basketball, we got you covered. All good. Our sister station, 103.7 The Gator, that'll be live there at 6:30. So please do not fret. We are still live and local, baby. We got it all for you right here on WRUF Sports Lab, presented by Rally House. Nate Bilgoray rocking with you till baseball. And I spoke about Boogie Flan before the break and spoke about, well, what he was and what he is now, and he's kind of a shell of who he was in Arkansas. And I riled you up a little bit. I see in the YouTube comments, I was just about to call in and defend Boogie, but you brought it full circle. Said RK Wood 6533. He thinks Boogie's the best defender, and he wants Boogie to use his energy defending guards and let the other guards shoot the rock. Yeah, you're right. I totally agree with you. That's why I said Boogie Flan just has to play defense for this team to be capable in March. But let me ask you this, RK Wood 6533. Let me ask you this. What happens if Xavier Lee reverts? What happens? What happens if Xavier Lee has an off day? And it's March. And it's win or go home. What happens? I don't know. I'm just asking you to think about the question. Pose it in your mind. And Boogie Flan was supposed to be, he was supposed to be the guy. And now that he's not, now that he is a defensive-minded player, now that he is focusing his energy on defense, you're banking on Xavier Lee and Urban Klavjar to play excellent. To play excellent in the tournament. And what about Urban? I know that he is a great shooter, but you can't recognize that he's still a defensive liability for this team, especially in March and late game situations. Like, I get it. You have to have him out there for shooting. But what if you're out of timeouts? There's 45 seconds left in an Elite Eight game. You're down 3. Urban Klavjar drains the shot, ties it up, and then he's got to guard Kingston Flemings one-on-one for a possession to decide who goes to the Final Four. Are you okay with that? Are you? Are you? And then we got another YouTube comment. Plus potential injuries. Boogie hurt his hand once. He could get hurt again, but more than that, what if Xavier goes down? What if Urban goes down? I'm just asking questions because I think I was very clear in the first segment, in my opinion, that this Florida team is championship caliber. And that takes me to a conversation that I want to have about a certain level of disrespect about this Florida team. But if Xavier keeps playing the way he is, and Urban keeps playing the way he is, all Boogie Flan has to do is play defense. And this team will be just fine. Everyone plays their role, and you got a shot at a championship. But what if? This is sports, my friend. Anything can happen. Nate Bilgoray hanging out with you here on Sports Lab Overtime, presented by Rally House. WRUF. I'll be with you till 6:25 on the dot. Then we'll send it over to Jeff and Steve and Stetson. They've got baseball for you. And I want to talk about the discourse surrounding Florida basketball and this team right now. I went on Twitter this morning, and I don't know if you guys know Field of 68 or don't, just a college basketball coverage company. And there was a YouTube video. I think it was captioned, Florida is the most dangerous team in college basketball right now. No. Florida's not the most dangerous team in college basketball right now. Florida isn't the scariest team in college basketball right now. Scary? Dangerous? Those are phrases you use for teams that are getting hot at the right time and are somewhere between a 5 and a 9 seed, but you think they can do damage in March. Scary? Dangerous? That's what UConn was to Florida last season. That's a team that threatens the top contenders, but is not a top contender themselves. And that is disrespectful. I'm telling you that right now. It is disrespectful to call this Florida team scary and dangerous. No. No. They are a contender. This is one of the best teams in the country. Playing at peak powers, this team can beat anybody. How about KenPom? Go check out KenPom. I know Florida's 12th in the AP poll right now, but what's the AP poll compared to analytics? They're 5 in the KenPom, guys. They're 5th. The 5th best team in the country in the KenPom rankings. Now go back to last year and look who was at the top of the KenPom rankings. Just do it. Just give it a shot. I'll give you a second. Okay, maybe that wasn't enough of a second. But I'm going to assume that you looked and you saw Duke, you saw Auburn, you saw Florida, you saw Houston. What happened with those 4 teams in March? Oh, they went to the Final Four. They went to San Antonio. So you're going to sit here and tell me that the 5th most efficient team, in the country is scary, is dangerous, is what UConn was to the top contenders last season? No. I am here on Sports Lab Overtime. Nate Bilgoray hanging out with you on WRUF. I am here to tell you that you're wrong. Don't disrespect these Florida Gators because they won't write back. And you'll see them in the tournament. I think they've got a good shot to do some damage. All right, it was really fun hanging out with you for 25 minutes or so, getting you right up until Gators baseball. Remember, if you want basketball, that's on our sister station, 103.7 The Gator. You go there for that with Sean and Lee. For me, that's all. Saying so long. Jeff and Steve, have at it.